This is it. This is episode 11 of 11 of the 11-11-22 series of podcasts that I've created in the last 12 days. It was a little challenge that I set for myself to create 5.5 minute-ish podcasts every day for 11 days. And I did have a cheeky day off there after day 6. Not that I think anybody's probably following too closely, at least not enough to notice that little day off. But I did need a little rest day in the middle. Because even good things need a little bit of rest. Because a little bit of distance makes the heart grow fonder, as the old cliche goes. I've been following a little riff for a couple of days about the infinite nature of God's Spirit and the all-pervasive, incomprehensible, yet unavoidable nature of Spirit. See, the infinite is so big that we'll never grasp the whole thing. So, to glean insights, to find creative ways to express what we've discovered in life, we do need some limits. See, infinite creativity and possibility without finite limits just descends into chaos, disordered, unstructured, and unproductive. Something that I'm quite familiar with and very good at. I have piles of these notebooks and sketchbooks full of half-finished ideas. In the corner of our garage, I've got this hollow wooden timber surfboard that I built nearly 10 years ago that still can't be surfed because it hasn't got any fiberglass on it to keep the water out. I went through the whole process of learning how to build a board, downloaded software, designed it, printed it out on the kitchen floor, cut the timber out, worked out how to glue it all together, shaped up the rails, and it's 99.9% ready to go, but just not quite finished. I've even built the fin, but I didn't quite get it to the finished product. Because infinite creativity without limits is chaos. Without a deadline, without a solid goal, without a clear vision, things just don't get finished. And chaos has its place. It's like there's a sea of possibility washing around inside us. The waters of our heart can be quite chaotic. But to turn those infinite possibilities into something comprehensible that can add value or inspire others, we need to add a couple of other ingredients. We need a little bit of discipline. We need to create our own limits. I had a chat with a fella recently as I was going back into study mode, possibly to avoid doing what I think I need to do next, something that's become a bit of a pattern for me in life. And in our conversation, he said, "Mark, you're good at the creative things, but you need some limits. You need somebody to help hold you accountable to the things that you need to achieve to turn what you do into a business." And that caused me to stop and reflect and think, yes, I do need to stop and set some limits and parameters for what I do so that it could be turned into something that puts food on the table for the family. Because in life, if we don't have a plan for ourselves, we can be sure that somebody else does have a plan for our life, and chances are we probably won't like it much. If we come from Asian families, the plan for our lives is often to become a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, something that I'm sure a lot of people from where I grew up with can relate to. But the trouble with those plans that other people set for us is they don't resonate with our essence, with who we truly are. And we are, each and every one of us, quite unique. So, when it comes to understanding our creativity, and it comes to setting our own limits, how do we decide on the canvas that we need to hold our painting? Because they come in all different shapes and sizes. How do we decide on the number of verses for a song, or the number of chords to use in a chord structure, or the theme for our book, or the number of chapters or pages? And I think what I've learnt over the last 11 days is limits come from silence. In the book of Psalms in the Old Testament, and Psalms means instrumental music, this is like old school lyrics, it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. It could also be interpreted as cease striving and know that I am God, which carries connotations of wu wei in the Chinese Tao tradition, which means effortless action. Now, I'm not sure if it's the same word, but in Muay Thai, when somebody's really on fire, the crowd says, "Oh, wei," which sounds a lot like the same word, which literally means effortless action. To be still, to cease striving, to be quiet, and to see what's there, to see what springs forth from the wellspring of our hearts when we give up trying, when the mind's quiet for at least a little while, as the chatter subsides and our new direction becomes clear. And doing this podcast for the last 11 days, what I noticed, because I ran out of ideas on day 2 or 3, and I didn't pre-plan them all in sequence, I simply trusted that some sort of an idea would hit me each day. So the process I adopted was to sit down and just meditate for 15-20 minutes. And I noticed a pattern in my own thinking. To begin with, I had thoughts of, I hope I get this idea soon. And if the idea didn't come soon, the thoughts changed to pleading. "Oh, please give me the idea now." And if they still didn't come, I was resigned to say to myself, well, I guess if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. Which is quite a shift, because the old me would have said, well, if it's not going to come, I'm going to go and find it. I'm going to get after it and chase it down. But that effort, that striving, doesn't seem to yield authentic results. The new way that I've discovered is to simply wait. And it's often in that moment of giving up, of letting go, deciding that the outcome's not that important, because nothing we ever do is that important, really, because we are all going to the same place at the end of the day. And being okay with not doing is the moment that the idea comes, that the limits become clear, that the direction becomes clear, and we can put pen to paper. So I hope, if you've been following this for the last 11 days, I hope it has given you some seeds of ideas to pursue. I hope it has perhaps inspired you to think about pulling out the crayons or some paper or getting the guitar out of the cupboard and creating something new. Set some limits and see what happens. So until next time, and I think I'll return to the normal sort of weekly podcast, which will become more regular at this stage. I hope you're doing really well, and I'll chat with you soon. Baku.